Welcome. Today we're taking a look at using the Oracle date data type as well as the interval and the overlaps command so we can see how we can do a little bit more in the way of data operations using SQL and dates with Oracle databases. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So the first thing we're looking at is the Oracle's interval type. And so an interval is a range space of date. So we can actually get like, oh, I want a specific time frame or something we're looking within that. And so you can see inside my select query right here, I've extract month from YM interval. So 2YM interval gives me a year to month interval, hence the YM. In this case, I'm spelling out 3 years and 5 months, and I'm giving that a name of month info. I'm then going to use the add months command to assist date and extract month from 2YM interval, 3Y, that same value we just did. So this is a very overblown way of adding some time to an existing date type. And so as you can see, my month info, it gives me a value of 5 on that first command, and then add months passing it sysdate and extract that month from YM command will take to the 17th of July, aka 5 months into my future. And so we can simply just add months to that with using the add months command. But this case, I'm using the add months and extracting that numeric value of the 3 years and 5 months. I'm only adding that value from that. And the reason we might do this is maybe we're going to be, we have an interval data type that exists inside a query, or we're combining the results to actually generate an interval in maybe a subquery. And we need to extract part of that information to do some other manipulation later on. And that's why we might have a sample like this that we're doing and doing operations on that. It's just a nice little way we can play with information and do some cool stuff. So let's do a better version of doing combining date and interval. So let's go ahead and run this query right here. And so in this query, I'm going to select Cody as my name. I have toChar passing it a toDate command of 6/19/1995, my wedding anniversary. And then I'm using then FM month, FM disp year as special day. And then I have toChar sysdate to 2YM interval as a subtraction on there. And then 5/11, it's almost 6 years ago. And then toChar toDate 9-30-4321, some ridiculous keyboard mash there of a year, and day month year. And it's not right now, lol, as a silly joke because, hey, why not? And so as you can see right here, when I'm working that YM interval, I have a spelled out date. And so I have Cody just simply called out right there. And then I have June 19th, 1995, spelled out as the call for result using the FM month and the FM disp and year for having that pulled together. And then my interval demo example, we have 17/03/2016 was almost 5 years ago. In fact, it was 5 years and 11 months ago. And so today's the 17th. The month right now is 3, so that would be is 2. So 11 months ago would be 3 because it's going backwards in time. So we'd go to 3 right there. Oh, almost 6 years ago. And then demo 2, it's a Friday. Oh, cool. So 09/30/43/21 is a Friday. September 30th of 43/21 is a Friday because, you know, that's really important to keep track of. Oh, wait, maybe you might have to do that for like an SQL problem or homework or something, find out what day of the week something was on. Or if you happen to have the brain that actually knows that information, cool, good for you. But we can use that information that we can actually calculate that right here inside SQL. As you can see, I'm just using the dual table to make those calculations and make them happen. Now, we also want to make sure we keep in mind that when we're working with the idea of the interval thing, we have to use contiguous time. We can't simply just skip values around. So in this case, I'm going to do add months and sysdate -4, so I can do a backwards amount, so I can pass a forward or backward to add months. And then toChar sysdate minus that same 2YM interval of 0-4 was 4 months ago. So those first two rows, or the first two columns, are the same thing, just expressed in different ways. My third column, toChar sysdate plus sysdate plus a 2DS interval, I'm going to add days and seconds to an exact time. So in that case, I have 3 days, 4 hours, 45 minutes, and 32 seconds to right now. And so that's going to give me a time that's in the future for that. So I'll run that query right here. And again, like I said, please note that there is a contiguous amount of time, not skipping values when I'm going from year to month or from days to seconds. And in this case, backwards to 17th October 2021, using the interval demo, 17/10/2021 was almost 4 months ago. Hey, yes, it was, indeed. And then interval demo 2, 20/02/2022 is 3 days from now and a few hours. So 20/02, because today's the 17th, 02 February is the same month, and 2022 is the current year. So this is going to be in the future by 3 days, 4 hours, 45 minutes, and 32 seconds. If I run this exact same query a different time of day, that would obviously be shifted. So if I say I ran this at, say, 9 o'clock at night, 3 days, 4 hours from now would not just be 3 days, it would actually be the next day after that, because that 4 hours would skip ahead another chunk of time. So make sure when you're looking at adding or working in time of that, you keep that in mind, because when you're running on there, the sysdate call is running at the time of the server, not your own current time. So keep that in mind as a specific thing. Now, I did say note the requirement of the contiguous time. I can't simply skip values around. If I do that, I'm going to have an error version right here. So in this case, select extract day from interval 3.2, data second. It's not going to work. So I try and run that command, and boom, error. The interval itself is invalid. 3:2 is not an actual data second interval. I have to actually spell out the components of time in that data second interval. Even if I don't want to have value for that, I have to give it a 0 value to explicitly call those out. So the corrected version of that, if I want to do 3 days and 2 hours, I'd have that right here. And boom, I have now 3 days, 2 hours. I extracted the day out of that, and the rest of the information I could simply have random stuff, in this case 45 minutes, 21 seconds, or I could go through and zero it all out and just simply go 3 days, 2 hours, and then zero the values for the minutes and seconds, and that'd be totally fine too. We also want to do a quick little demonstration of using the overlaps command. Overlaps is how I can check to see if a date exists within a range of date. And so it's really pretty cool, and it's a great way to do some cool fun stuff. And so overlaps, all we have to do on here is I have select ord name as customer name and toChart or date dd day, so as date day, and from order table, but I only want those to get that in a specific range. So here's my demo query, so I can just get the basic structure of that. And you can see I've got 20 rows that are default happening with that. And then I want to do that to only those ones where the date overlaps this range right here. So I want to check to see the ones that are here between the 10th of January to 1 month from that, which would be the 10th of February. So making sure that those are only in that 1 month range. And so I'm using that same query right here of 20 rows, and I want the ones that are in that realm from the 10th to the 10th of February. So we'll run that same query right here and play that query, and now I'm down to only 14 rows that match that query. So I can use that where clause like we've done in some other videos to restrict results. In this case though, I'm using the where clause to restrict based on the use of the overlaps command, and so that takes the starting date, the ending date, in this case it's the same value, and then overlaps I want to do the starting time and the ending time. In this case I'm using a to date creation and then a interval value, and so you can either pass it two dates themselves or pass it intervals worth of time from the starting date and a starting and ending interval to make that work. And so you can see if they do overlap. If it does, it returns true. If it doesn't, it returns false. And you use that information on that where clause to then determine whether or not you're going to display the row attached to that information. I hope this is helpful for you, how you can use the interval data type as well as the overlaps command, and how to actually work with format asks a bit more using Oracle dates and time. Hope this is helpful. Cheers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.